Hi, I'm Jerry, founder of Culinary Analytics. I know you didn't open your restaurant because you wanted to manage spreadsheets. You opened it because you love feeding people, creating a space for your community, and building something that bears your last name. Somewhere along the journey, you got bogged down under invoices, rising costs, and long hours. What I'm about to show you in the next 30 minutes is how to take that weight off your shoulder. I've applied this blueprint in multiple multi-million dollar operations over the last 2 decades. Yes, I get it, I don't look that old. But in the next 30 minutes, you'll see how a simple system can give you clarity, protect your income, and let you get back to the part you love: the food, the people, and the culture. Welcome to the Culinary Analytics Way. If you're like most operators I talk to, you poured your soul into this place, and the last thing you want to hear is some outsider critiquing your baby. I get it. I'm not there to critique you. I'm here to solve your problems. So before you click away, just tell me if this scenario feels painfully familiar. Your food costs keep rising. Another great employee quit. Someone called in at the last minute, and your doors are bustling with customers. And the knot of anxiety builds up every time right before the P&L drops. I know you need those funds for much needed business loan repayments or finally getting that house of your dream. I know you're exhausted. I've been there. The truth is, you're not alone. This isn't a passion problem. It's a system flaw. And systems can absolutely be fixed. When you fix the system, the stress eases, profits return, and you finally get to live the life you dreamed about when you first started this journey. The foundation of fixing those system flaws and the absolutely first step to regaining control is understanding the true profitability of what you're selling. Let's start with recipe costing. I've always had a deep respect for the numbers, the way that most people like music. They tell this clear, unbiased story about your business. It's the same kind of respect any chef has for the ingredients. For many operators though, these essential equations can feel like they're written in foreign language, right? Sales minus cost of goods sold equals gross profit. To get the gross profit, you need to understand beginning and ending inventories. Then you need to understand your gross profit is the thing that actually pays the bills, not necessarily the percent. Recipe costing and proper pricing is your key to your freedom. Think about that signature dish, the one everyone raves about. Now imagine knowing with absolute certainty that every time you sell it, you're making exactly what you need to. No more underpricing, no more guesswork. You can price confidently, train your team to enforce portion controls, and stop that slow bleed you can't even see. This one step alone gives owners the peace of mind to focus on creativity again. Culinary Analytics automates it so you don't lose hours buried in spreadsheets.
Okay, so now let's get into actually costing out a recipe. So in an Excel sheet, you would need to understand some functions in order to do this. You would also need to understand fractions and the capacity to take your recipe in whatever form it is and break it down to could be one single serving. And so what we did here is we did just that. And now this shows that this veggie patty is roughly a quarter pound, and that quarter pound veggie burger costs you 54 cents to make. But however, this isn't easy to do. It's doable at any restaurant, but it isn't easy to do. Let's get into actually how our system works. So now when you enter our system, you can just select your ingredient. It already have the cost built into the file. And as you add those ingredients together, it gives you out a full total cost of this particular dish. And then after that, you can determine the markup value, add your image with it, of course, but you tell it what the cost is. And if you need to extrapolate for Uber Eats or DoorDash to add on a little fee, then you can do that as well. But this way you can know for sure, are my dishes priced appropriately so that I can maximize my profitability.
One of my clients in New Orleans, number 2 item on a $700,000 a year operation, was losing $1 every time he sold it. You can't run a business that way. You wonder why he was working long hours, why he didn't have money for payroll. This is the purpose of pricing properly. So now that we understand recipe costing, let's make sure those ingredients stay inside your 4 walls. Let's focus on real inventory control. Have you ever had to tell a customer you ran out, or toss a pan of food because you made too much? In a perfect world, a customer walks in the door, places an order, and all the ingredients appear right in front of you, ready to process. But most owners dread this part. With real-time tracking tied to your recipes, you can see on-hand amounts, usage, and variances instantly. Waste and theft stop being invisible. They become solvable. One cafe owner we work with found $1,500 a month hidden in losses. She used that to give her staff raises. Now, what did that do for retention? This kind of relief we're talking about. Our predictive sales by menu item, recipe scaling, and order guide generator is the we ran out or cooked too much killer. You no longer have to worry about those misgives. And ultimately, the end result of this is extra profits in your pocket.
Let's talk real inventory control. In most major corporations, there's something called a perpetual inventory system, and we have built that into this. The way our perpetual inventory system works is first we get your list of ingredients, we bulk upload them, and then we determine what are the adequate amount of stock to have on hand at all times. In the restaurant world, this is called a PAR system. So our PAR system we set here. Then as we continue to buy product, we update the ingredients by simply clicking on an item. And then we put the quantity we bought and we add it to the list. Quick and easy. And then as we sell a product, so you're familiar with this page shows us the cost, but it also have the quantity. So as an item sells, it then deducts the quantity for each of these items out of the inventory. Then you can do a quick snapshot of like grabbing the low stock report by just printing this out, and this tells you all your items that you're low stock on. So if you're really crunched for time and you want to do it this way, you can. But the culinary analytics way is we get ahead of the game. And we get ahead of the game by using our predictive algorithm, proprietary predictive algorithm. That prediction, which will show up here in this box, would inform us on what we think we're going to do in sales tomorrow. So today will be Sunday. So tomorrow is Monday we're going to be preparing for. You do that for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday by going through each menu item and predict out. You're going to get a prediction. You confirm or deny it. What gives you faith or confidence in that number would be this data points down here, which would then tell you, what did you do last year on Monday? What did you do last week on Monday? And what does the relative average Monday sales look like for each one of these items? And as a result, it scales your recipe for you and provides you the quantity in which you need. You click a button and then you're given this beautiful sheet here that basically says for day 1, day 2, day 3, what you need. You go count what you have on hand. You're left over with probably 12. You start here with 12, you need 164. So now you're a negative 152 in the hole. And so in theory, you will be looking to buy 416 grams of this particular item for the next 3 days. And so this is a very straightforward, easy way that you manage your inventory beyond anybody else. And the sneak preview is that you can actually get the recipe also ready to go, scaled by quantity. So these also dub as a prep cook list. So your prep cook can take this and say, okay, well, I need to go and cut 19 grams of onions for this day, and make it extremely easy to like integrate this into your kitchen operations.
We've secured the ingredients, but not all ingredients are created equal. You need to focus your efforts on the dishes that truly drive your profits. That's why the next step is data-driven menu engineering. Are you familiar with the 80-20 rule? About 20% of your dishes drive 80% of your sales. We help you see which ones are stars, which ones are dragging you down, so you can build a menu that sells and profits you. This means fewer dead items on your menu, more customer satisfaction, and higher margins without raising prices across the board. A profitable menu is only half the battle. Your second largest cost, and probably your biggest day-to-day headache, is labor. Let's see how you can gain complete clarity there now. Labor is usually our second largest cost, and let's be honest, often your biggest headache. Trying to balance that schedule is like playing a constant game of high-stake poker. Overstaff on a slow night, and you just watch your profits walk out the door. Understaff on a busy night, and you burning out your best people and risking your reputation with poor service. With accurate sales forecasting built right into Culinary Analytics, you instantly know when and how many people you need. You can schedule the right number of people for the right shifts. It eliminates the guesswork. We had one operator tell me this single feature saved them 10 hours a week, so much so that it allowed them to have their weekends back. That's the difference between working in the chaos and working on your business.
I like to think that this is all math. Everything that we do in a restaurant business, from the passion of producing the food, it can be measured. And so this part, we're going to get into how we measure and predict our payroll hours. And again, I like to do it first in Excel so you can understand what we're doing, and then I'll show you how our system automates this process. So first, you need to have some form of way to predict out what you're going to do in sales. So for this operation, they're closed Monday and Tuesday, and we predict out these sales from where they're at page, and then we can schedule based on those. Now we need to understand what payroll percent they want to use. So on slower days, you might want to use a higher payroll percent, and then you make it up on the busier days, which allows you to really manage or tweak your payroll. And so what you also need, lastly, will be your average hourly rate. And so these things, then if you multiply your sales times your payroll percent, gives you a payroll dollar, and then that payroll dollar divided by your average hourly rate gives you a payroll hours. You can click the link and we can give you this worksheet for free so you can use it now. But the way that we do it in the Culinary Analytics way is a more automated way and make things a lot easier for you. So built into the algorithm is a 30% payroll model. And so what we would then add is, like we just showed you, the average hourly rate. We would do the prediction for sales, and then it will predict out what your hours per day will look like. And so your payroll, your hours a week by day should look like jagged lines. It shouldn't be straight, because it's not a process where we can set it and forget it. And it's going to change regularly. And so we do this for every week. So you can look at this next week. And this allows you to really get ahead of the game and managing your payroll in a more effective and predictive way. I hope this was helpful. Again, download the link below and you will get the manual.
Let's talk about waste management and loss prevention that actually works. Nothing hurts more than watching money walk out the back door. Whether it's a whole pan of food you had to toss or a few bottles missing, that's profit you paid for, ending up in the trash or in someone else's pocket. The good news is we manage what we measure. By tracking waste, not just as a single number, but by the type and cause, you instantly see the patterns and fix them simultaneously. Did the prep shift overproduce? Did the line cook burn too many dishes? You know the why. That simple act means more profit and less guilt for you. It also gives your staff a clear culture of accountability instead of blaming. And here's a crucial financial point. When you properly track and document waste, it can significantly reduce your taxable liability.
Next up, let's talk about waste management and loss prevention. In the Culinary Analytics way, we can track waste by an item, so if that dish was made that should not have been made, or by ingredient, that bag of onions that started sprouting that you couldn't use in time for whatever particular reason. Either way, you can track the waste and easily see and start to build up quantities based on usage that can be then easily seen in a profit and loss report. So you have a nice total waste line, and then you could just toggle the date times to be able to see it. And then loss prevention is that we talked about the need of doing inventories. And one thing that is cool about our system is you can go to the stock report, and then you can export this into an Excel sheet, print it, and then go and do a physical inventory. Or if you're on a tablet, you can actually do it in Excel there. And then you can compare what you have on hand compared to what the system you should have on hand. And with relatively ease, you can identify those items that are disappearing. And if you notice that there's particular things, I think one of the things we notice most in restaurants would probably be some of the proteins. If they're the ones that seem to be missing, is it enough that it looks like it's overportioning, or is it enough to where it's a couple cases missing? And so you can increase the frequency of your inventories. That'll help you start to nail down how much of these high dollar items are disappearing, and then eventually get to the point where you fix the problem. And if you don't have them personnel power to actually do physical inventories, surprise, we do that as well. We can actually come to your site using this program and do your physical inventory to provide you insights by item to let you know what is missing and what is not. So this is how you get control of your waste and loss prevention.
How'd you say? Well, if you're just using your purchases as the cost of goods and not adding your waste into it, your gross profits look more. And then as a result, you have more that trickles down to the net income line. So it looks like you made more money, but you really didn't. Let's talk about real-time KPIs. Waiting for the end of the month P&L is like trying to drive your business while looking exclusively in the rearview mirror. You can see exactly where you were, but you can't see the curve or the hazards or the opportunities right in front of you. That delay means you're always reacting and never steering. We fixed that. We put your absolute KPIs, key performance indicators, like your food cost percentage, your labor percentage, and your ticket time right on your dashboard in real time. The relief owners describe is visceral. It's like turning on the headlights at night. You finally see the road ahead, and you can correct your path before you hit the pothole. The Culinary Analytics way does more than just report history. We forecast the future. That ability to forecast is critical, especially when an unexpected happens. What if a major event causes sales to dip 20% overnight? That's what our predictive modeling for shocks is built to handle. Here's a hard truth about why restaurants fail. Companies don't shutter because they go from $1 million a year to zero. They close because they drop from $1 million to say 750,000, but they keep ordering and staffing like they're still doing $1 million. They both feel busy. When sales dip overnight, most kitchens keep buying and scheduling like nothing changed. And then they wonder why the cash just somehow evaporates. This is where the power of forecasting truly pays off. Our predictive model doesn't wait for your end of the month report. It recalculates your needs instantly. It tells you to pull back on ordering, adjust your labor, and preserve those profits even when the market shifts unexpectedly. Think of it as an airbag for your income. You just hope you never need it. But when a downturn hits, and they will, it's there to save your business. The Culinary Analytics way is about being prepared for whatever comes your way. All the systems we covered, forecasting, costing, KPIs, they all need to talk to each other to work seamlessly together. That's why we built our system as the only integrated POS and financial and data analytics system to serve as the central brain to your operation. Think of our POS system as the central brain of your entire operations. Right now, you might have 3 to 5 different programs that don't talk to each other. A system for taking orders, another one for bookkeeping and accounting, and a third one for inventory. They create friction, mistakes, and delays. And for you, that's money. We eliminate that friction. Instead, you get forecasting, bookkeeping and accounting, recipe scaling, and more. They all communicating and living in one place. That means fewer logins, fewer subscriptions, fewer mistakes, and the clarity to make critical decisions on the fly, right when they matter the most, instead of weeks later after the money is gone. This single integration is the key to running a truly lean and farm operation.
Now, let's talk about integrated POS and financial reporting. In this, we're going to walk through how our system is integrated from an e-commerce website that you become part of the system that allows your patriots to come and place orders that can either be delivered or for pickup and go straight to DoorDash as we already integrated. And then you get your financial reporting. And so the top will be what is happening in business today. And then you can toggle a date at time and get kind of a snapshot of over time how things are going. And I always like to tell people that if your gross profit is dropping below 70%, then that Lean Six Sigma 80-20 rule kicks in that allows you to dig into exactly what those top items are, which is driving your margin performance. And so you can go and dig into those top 10 items, correct those, and just that quickly, you can solve your margin problems. Then we can also go straight from that into toggling a period of time. So if you want to look at it monthly, daily, however you want to kind of snapshot it, are you able to get a P&L printout that's going to give you your sales, your gross profit, your expenses, so forth and so on. Lastly, your beautiful actual POS system will look similar to this. This, of course, will be images of your food, but we can make this as intuitive and easy for your cashiers to use and ensure that they understand how to maximize your entire system and deploying things the Culinary Analytics way.
The integration of our POS system doesn't just give you better reporting, it drives immediate daily automation, especially for your purchasing and prepping with our automated order guides and recipes scaling. Imagine starting your day knowing that the most tedious, error-prone tasks are already done. Every morning, our system generates a fresh order guide based on historical sales data and forecast demand for tomorrow, the next day, and the day after. Simultaneously, it automatically scales your recipes for production, allowing your prep cooks to know exactly how much of what to produce. This means you buy exactly what you need, nothing more, nothing less, and you prep exactly to demand. This single feature is a game changer. Owners tell me this alone saves them 3 to 5 hours a week in pure administrative time and dramatically cuts those costly last-minute supply runs. It's about removing the daily friction so you can focus on executing great service.
Earlier, we spoke a little bit about the automation of order guides, and in this series, we're going to quickly go over it again just so you grasp how simple this makes things for you and your operations. So here we have a prediction of what we're going to do in sales tomorrow. We can toggle and get that prediction by day, and then we can actually change it if we want to, if we don't feel good about that number. The thing that would give us question or pause would be, how did we do last year? How did we do last week? And how do we do on average for the day in which we're preparing for? After we go through each menu item, telling how much we think our prediction should be, we can then click a button and submit it. And then what easily happens is, just like that, you're going to get a full aggregated order guide that says this is what you need for day 1, day 2, day 3. You go count what you have on hand. It shows you now, here's what I need to go buy. I'm left with, or what I have on hand left, or what I need to buy if it was negative. Then I'm stuck with, 12 on hand, what I need to go buy next, negative on hand. So now my total for the entire 3 days will be 416 grams of this particular item. And so now you can take this easily and as well use it day by day for your prep cook prep list of the items they need to prep for the day, which then now takes a step out of having you or your prep cook prepping one recipe at a time. And then when we talked about the scaling the menu, here's what you get here, whereas you're going to get to see the item that you're prepping for and then the quantities in which you need. So yeah, if it's fish tacos, maybe you're not doing this all at one time, but if it's a bowl of beans or a soup or something of that nature, this makes it super easy for you to produce the quantity in which you need, showing you on hands as well so that you can maximize efficiency. This ties us straight into the overall guide of Lean Six Sigma operations.
All these individual features work, but they work best because they are all built in one core operational philosophy. You probably heard about Lean Six Sigma. That's the gold standard for operational efficiency. It's all about eliminating waste and building rock solid, repeatable processes. Most independent operators think that that's only for the big chains. Not anymore. We didn't just build a software platform. We built those lean principles right into the code. Every feature you've seen corresponds to a step in the DMAC process by defining, measuring, analyzing, improving, and controlling. This means continuous improvement isn't some massive project you have to launch. It's simply your daily routine. That's the mechanism that finally lets you stop the constant firefighting and allows you to move into a steady, predictable path of growth and profitability. When you have a predictable, repeatable processes, you have systems, you remove one of the most frustrating pain points in the business, the headache of training new employees. Let's talk about training and onboarding efficiency. For most operators, bringing on a new staff means a slow, costly process, weeks of shadowing, inevitable mistakes, and a huge drain on your veteran team's time. It's frustrating and it's expensive. We eliminate that steep learning curve, standardizing recipes, clear forecasts, and intuitive dashboards make it incredibly easy for a new hire to step in, understand exactly what needs to be done, and execute to your standards. The results is massive. It reduces training time, drastically cuts down costly mistakes, and lowers your overall turnover costs. More importantly, it frees you up to work on your level, setting strategy instead of being trapped in your job, constantly retraining folks. Now, why does all of this matter? Why do we focus on costing, inventory, labor, and training? Because all these systems are designed to achieve one ultimate goal: protecting and growing your net income. At the end of the day, you don't take percentages to the bank. You take dollars. That's the reality. Everything we've talked through, your precise costing, the predictive forecasting, the real-time KPIs, and the Lean Six Sigma principles, all of it is designed with a single laser-focused purpose: to protect and aggressively grow your net income. This is the shift that lets restaurants stop scraping by on a measly 5% net income and start thriving at 15% or more. That's the difference between ownership that drains your soul and ownership that truly rewards you. And that right there is when owners finally get to take a full deep breath again. You've seen the blueprint, the clarity, the profit, the freedom. It's all within reach. So where do you start? You can start today. Take the first step by downloading our free Excel recipe costing guide and put your own signature dish under the microscope. See those numbers clearly for yourself. Or if you're ready to take that leap and really get the weight off your shoulders, book a free consultation right now. Our dedicated team will get your forecasting and analytics tool set up for you and show you exactly how to protect and grow your income. We give you a 90-day guarantee. Don't wait for the next crisis. Don't wait for the next shock to the system. Build the system now so you're ready for whatever comes. You built this restaurant brick by brick. Let us protect it bit by bit. Let's build a business that feeds you back.